Pacers and Jazz. The Jazz lose this game, and frankly, they lost this game, and it was ugly.
Yeah.
And I'll just continue to say about this Utah Jazz team, defense is a problem now. I mean, there's no more sugarcoating it. There's no more spinning it. The Utah Jazz are a mediocre defensive team. And when you have the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year on your team, it's a little shocking that, Malcolm Brogdon dominated you. You have the Indiana Pacers, who on paper, you're a much better team than the Pacers. But Myles Turner is shooting wide open threes.
Mm-hmm.
You're not communicating. It's all well and good that there was a brawl that we're going to talk about in a minute. And it's all well and good that, the Jazz are the best team that's ever played in the NBA. We get it. They're not very good right now. And Jake, frankly, I don't know how you fix this, and I don't really know that they know how to fix it.
Yeah, so I think on the show we've had a lot of people talking about, in the past, like not yesterday, but like in the past, we've had some comments about how, maybe Quinn Snyder, needs to be brought into the conversation. Maybe this is more than just the players. Last night, I felt like for the first time when I was watching this team, I felt like this team was unhinged. I felt like this team had a lack of composure. And it wasn't just the fight. If you're watching this game in its totality, you're watching this thing build. You're watching the reaction to some of the fouls being called and the way they're handling. Like a good example of this was Donovan when he tried to take a charge on TJ McConnell and they called it a block. And then Donovan goes running away and sits on the scorer's table. So this isn't just a Rudy problem. I want to be really clear about that. This is a Donovan Mitchell problem. This is a Rudy Gobert problem. And frankly, Joe Ingles is part of it, but not as big of a factor. Joe Ingles does a pretty good amount of trash talking as well, which is why we love him. But this team seems to struggle mentally against gritty teams, and the Pacers are the truest example of that. The Pacers are a team that are definitely not a good team, right? Well, I mean, we can all agree on that. They're not a world beater. They're not someone you got to be intimidated by in terms of their talent. But they're a team that knows that and is well aware of that and are going to play physical, And we've been talking about on this show for a long time how the Jazz are in a place where they're with all due respect, a bit of a softer team. They're not a team that is real chippy. They're not a team that plays a real physical brand of basketball. Don sometimes will play some physical basketball, but overall the narrative on this team, the vibe of this team is not one that's chippy. It's not one that's tough. So you get into this game last night at home, by the way, and the Pacers are taking it to you physically, and you're not dealing with that well. And then after the game, you want to talk about officiating or you want to talk about getting into fights on social media or whatever. And I'm just sitting here saying, once again, just like any game last year where we heard them complaining about officiating, this team is focused on the wrong things. This team wants to complain about officiating. This team wants to complain about, the league is letting these guys do too much. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. The problem with that is that you're not taking responsibility for what happened. And this is the issue, the true issue I have with Quinn and the team overall. Quinn Snyder needs to get into this locker room and he needs to say enough is enough. When are we going to stop complaining about officiating and when are we going to start executing our end of the bargain, which is playing better team defense? And then this obviously goes right into what we were discussing yesterday on the show about roster construction and the fact that they can't keep up on defense. So as you can see, it all works together. But I just felt like last night was like very immature out of this team. That's what I left the game feeling. It's like the fourth quarter, 9 minutes left. I'm like, all right, they're probably going to lose this game. It's 9:30. Let's go to bed, right? And then what do I get? A text from you. Hey, bro, are you watching the game? There's a huge brawl going on. And I'm standing in my bathroom trying to get my eyeballs taken care of.
Were you naked?
I wasn't naked, unfortunately, but I am svelte, I am nice to look at.
Yeah, you're cut.
Yeah, so anyway, so I turn the damn TV back on, and I'm like, dude, come on, man. It's the Pacers, and you're getting in a fight. Like, what are we doing? That's honestly what I felt like.
Well, the thing that really stands out to me is that the officiating thing now is damaging the ball club. I mean, every team complains about the officials. I get it. Not every team is getting into a consistent war with the officials on a night in, night out basis where your most important player, who right now is Rudy Gobert, is getting technical fouls. Note his ejection last night. He already had one technical foul before the fight. My guess is he'd have been ejected no matter what, but
Yeah.
he winds up with 2 technical fouls last night and a fight and an ejection. After the game, listen to Rudy Gobert here, sit up on the podium and blame the officials.
At some point, like, you know, we might have to, like, I might have to stand up for myself if the officials keep doing what they've been doing over this season. You know, like they allow guys to do way too much shit, and I keep my head cool because I have a lot of self-control. I'm not gonna fight on the basketball court, but if somebody want to fight, I'm easy to reach.
I just don't understand this mentality. And, I get it. Rudy Gobert's a competitor, and he is a hell of a player. But Rudy Gobert gives as much as he gets.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue with Rudy Gobert, and I was actually texting with a former NBA official the other week about this. The issue with Rudy Gobert is he has no relationship with the officials. And when you constantly battle the officials, they're all aware of it. They all talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in pregame reports. And you get no favor from the officials when you call them out or disrespect them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Rudy Gobert is doing. And last night, Donovan Mitchell's doing the same thing. Donovan Mitchell got ejected because he, much like Joe Ingles, who ran in and body blocked an official last night, which is why he got ejected. At the end of this whole scrum, Donovan Mitchell made contact with an official and got ejected for it. He was not like, with all due respect to the Utah Jazz media members, they're talking about how Donovan got ejected for defending Rudy Gobert. He was never defending Rudy Gobert.
No.
That's not what Donovan Mitchell was doing. And at the end of this whole thing, he made contact with an official and got ejected for it. Here's Donovan after the game.
It's really at a point now where the referees are allowing, especially like tonight, like the referees are allowing this to get out of hand. Like, we're playing through contact, and we're competitors. Like both teams, you play through contact, you talk shit, you do whatever. But at some point, it's continuing to build, and you can sense that. You know what I mean? And it's like you got to draw the line early. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to get situations like that where we feel like we're in a situation where we could possibly come back, and then you eject three key guys.
So what did he really say?
But the officials are why we lost the game.
No, they're not.
And when you're talking about ejecting 3 key guys, Rudy Gobert got into a fight. You're going to get ejected for that. Joe Ingles, I mean, if you go back and watch the video, Joe Ingles body blocked an official.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting ejected for that. And then Donovan Mitchell is so pissed at Keelan Martin.
Who?
He's going after Keelan Martin, who I'm going to guess said something to Donovan Mitchell. But Donovan absolutely lost his wig and then won't let it go and then makes contact with an official at the end of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're blaming the officials for ejecting those 3 players. Which one of those ejections was uncalled for? You cannot body block an official. Joe Ingles did that. You're gone.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Joe's second ejection of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get into a fight like Rudy did. You're gone. And then Donovan Mitchell lost his cool and again made contact with an official. You're ejected.
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry.
You can't sit here, and I want to play the Donovan Mitchell bite again, because listen to how much blame and how little accountability is in this soundbite.
It's really at a point now where the referees are allowing, especially like tonight, like the referees are allowing this to get out of hand. Like, we're playing through contact, and we're competitors. Like both teams, you play through contact, you talk shit, you do whatever. But at some point, it's continuing to build, and you can sense that. You know what I mean? And it's like you got to draw the line early. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to get situations like that where we feel like we're in a situation where we could possibly come back, and then you eject three key guys.
Where is your? Does anybody remember the Philadelphia game last year? Right when Donovan and I think Rudy got ejected as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right before the All-Star break, where they had lost, I think, in Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go to Philly and lose. This is the exact same thing that happened in Philly. This is the same team as last year.
Mm-hmm.
Where is your maturity? Where is your just simply, where is your composure? Like, it is shocking to see a guy of Donovan Mitchell's caliber, a superstar, a stud, getting into a melee in the NBA. You just don't see that. It's so, A, beyond the fact that it's just not smart.
Yeah.
B, the risk of injury, the fine, the ejection,
And you notice too, what's funny, it's funny you bring that up. One thing that I felt like went unnoticed about this whole brawl is that Mike Conley did a great job of staying out of the scrum. Like, he was around, right? Like, he was on the physical floor, but he understood the moment. He was like, okay, I can't get into that, right? Like, I can't, you've got Don, you've got Joe, you've got Rudy. Like, he recognized the moment. And I think as much criticism as he gets on this show about his injuries and that whole thing, I think he deserves some credit here for being able to say, okay, I know that those guys are gone. Like, I'm an NBA player. I know what's about to take place right here.
Yeah.
So that experience is really what separates Conley from the rest of the guys on this team, because I feel like Don can learn a lot out of this, and my fear is that he's not going to learn much. He's just going to say, well, the officials cost us, and this is why that happened, and that's the hard part. Like, this is, and as much as I hate to say it, if you were in a place where you had more dynamic athleticism on this team and you were able to play a higher level of defense, none of this would have happened, because they wouldn't have been bullying you like they were.
And you know the hardest part about this whole thing is? It's shocking. And why is it shocking? Because the Utah Jazz should be an elite basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
This should still be the best team in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happened to this team. I don't know where they have gone mentally, but like, there's something missing here. And that's why what happened last night is just so shocking, is the word that I keep coming back to. Like, Rudy Gobert is an MVP candidate by any measure. And you're getting into a brawl where you're pulling a huge human being down on top of you, and then you're getting into a hug fest, and you're trying to do a takedown of a guy. They get back up, they do whatever this hugging thing is, and Rudy Gobert is trying to throw Myles Turner down to the ground and could not do it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And I'm the reason I'm so flabbergasted by this is because this is an elite basketball team. They're just not playing very well.
Mm-hmm.
They're not shooting very well. They're not defending at all. Rudy Gobert is the only guy, like, he is busting his ass defensively. But you can see what the Indiana Pacers were doing. Switch at the top, pull Rudy away from the basket, and when he sags, give the ball to Myles Turner, and he's going to hit threes.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the fast break, you get Myles Turner, dishing, and you get Brogdon running down the floor. And you get Keelan Martin hitting threes and making layups.
By the way, it should be said, Keelan Martin went undrafted. Keelan Martin's one of those kind of guys, and you're getting into a fight with one of those guys. Just to put this into perspective.
And that's the Donovan Mitchell part of this.
Yeah.
You got ejected for Keelan Martin. Don, you got ejected for Keelan Martin. And and the issue for Rudy, and this has been my thing with Rudy for a long time, Rudy Gobert is not a tough physical presence. He is a great defender. He is, inarguably an efficient dunker of the basketball. No doubt about that. He has a historic field goal and defensive presence. Historic. But you're going to get your shot blocked. That's going to happen. And when Myles Turner blocked that shot, you could see it all boil over, right? And what Myles Turner had talked about, did we play the Myles Turner bite
No,
yet?
we have.
Here's Indiana Pacers center Myles Turner talking about what happened with Rudy.
Everybody saw what happened. I thought it was a dirty play. There was I'm not sure which ref. Somebody saw. I thought all that could have been prevented, but that's besides the point. He pulled me down. I wasn't about to take that, so kept it rolling. I just couldn't believe there wasn't a foul call. I thought that was an easy call, and I think it had kind of been building up all game. Gobert, I think he had a dunk, and he started talking shit, and I think it kind of built it from there. But then when he pulled my shorts, I wasn't about to have that. So, I had to stand up for myself in that situation. I don't think I did anything wrong. But that's not up for me to decide. I'll talk to the league and see what happens from there.
They let so much go in this game, and it's been all season long. They have let the NBA become a much more physical league,
which is good for the game,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And I think on the 3-point fouls that we've talked so much about,
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. They
Mhm.
want a more physical league. But there comes a line, right? So when Rudy is dunking and he's kicking his legs out, and you're almost hitting Myles Turner in the face at one point, and you can see the official warning Rudy Gobert, hey, easy. I think the guy said, hey, easy, easy. Like, and then you get your shot blocked and you're frustrated by it. So you pull Myles Turner's shorts down. He falls on top of you and it turns into a melee. Like,
Now, I want to play this one more time, and I want people to listen to the difference. We can play the Rudy thing after this, but I want you guys to hear the difference in the way Myles Turner tells the story, right? You notice in his story, he's not talking about officials and all that stuff, right? He's just telling you what happened in the game between the players. So I want you guys to hear this, and then we can play what Rudy said, because I feel like the contrast is way different.
Everybody saw what happened. I thought it was a dirty play. There was I'm not sure which ref. Somebody saw. I thought all that could have been prevented, but that's besides the point. He pulled me down. I wasn't about to take that, so kept it rolling.
Besides the
I
point.
I believe there wasn't a foul call. I thought that
Yep.
that was an easy call, and I think it had kind of been building up all game. Gobert, I think he had a dunk, and he started talking shit, and I think it kind of built it from there. But then when he pulled my shorts, I wasn't about to have that, so I had to stand up for myself in that situation.
Here's what I want you to hear in contrast. Yes, he's talking about the officials, but he's not calling them out and talking about how the officials are doing this to us and to me and to us and to But what he said is he pulled my shorts down and I wasn't about to take that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's not blaming the officials. He's very matter of fact. And then if you listen to Rudy Gobert here, you just hear the tone is completely different.
At some point, we might have to I might have to stand up for myself if the officials keep doing what they've been doing over this season. They allow guys to do way too much shit, and
It's amazing.
I keep my head cool because I have a lot of self-control. I'm not gonna fight on the basketball court. But if somebody want to fight, I'm easy to reach.
Like, what are you talking about? If somebody wants to fight, I'm easy to reach. Like, guy, what is wrong with you, man? And this is the thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
What if the officials have been, all season long and just concentrate on you.
And then let's play
basketball, man.
Let's play the Donovan one too, because I think this is important. So this is a team thing. It's not just a Rudy Gobert problem. And this is my point. This is becoming a Utah Jazz basketball problem. This is not a just Rudy Gobert problem. You know what I mean? So so here's Don. Listen to this again.
It's really at a point now where the referees are allowing, especially tonight, the referees are allowing this to get out of hand. We're playing through contact, and we're competitors. Both teams, you play through contact, you talk shit, you do whatever. But at some point, it's continuing to build, and you can sense that. You know what I mean? And it's like you got to draw the line early. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to get situations like that where we feel like we're in a situation where we could possibly come back, and then you eject three key guys.
Oh, okay. So the Jazz are going to blame the officials and say they cost them a win, and Myles Turner is just going to say, yeah, he pulled my shorts, and I wasn't going to have that, and yeah, the officials weren't calling stuff, so it was building, but it just got to a point where I was done with it. It's totally different, and this is. I'm no Pacer fan. I'm not sure that Pacer fans even exist at this point.
Screw Rick Smits.
But what I can tell you is that the mentality of this team is just off right now, and that's the hard part. Because I would love to see, honestly, like you covered Shaq, one of the most dominant bigs in the league. He was feared, was he not?
Oh yeah, yeah. Shaq brought fear into your heart. He terrorized guys. If you look at the guys he dunked on, but that was a different era of NBA. Some guy on Twitter last night was telling me, stupid take, Stockton and Malone never fought. You guys have to understand that the 80s and 90s were a different era of basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, the early 2000s were a different era of basketball. This is a league now that's trying to morph back into a tougher, more physical game. They don't want soft basketball anymore. And you can see that they're changing the way the officials call the game. But again, before I get to the comments, because I know there's a bunch, but before I get to the comments, this is an elite team. The Utah Jazz are a very good team. And they're letting this affect them. And they're worried about the officials, and they're worried about their three-point shot. Do you not see that TJ McConnell last night is grabbing a rebound in the middle of the paint while the Jazz are watching?
Crazy.
Just
dude.
standing there. Royce O'Neal is standing there watching this rebound happen. And you see this repeatedly. No communication on switches, pick and roll switches. Myles Turner's last 2 threes were wide open. Not a guy within 2 feet. There's something wrong here. There is something missing here. And, like when Rudy Gay comes into this lineup, my biggest fear is he doesn't fix what ails this team. He's going to give you more three-point shooting. He is going to give you probably a little bit better wing defense than you have now, and I would think Bogey's going to play a little less because of it. But he doesn't fix mentality. He doesn't fix this victim thing.
I guess that's a good way to describe it, right? It's almost like, hey, this is happening to us instead of, hey, this is something that we just need to handle.
Yeah. Gabe Ledley says, my dudes. What's up, Gabe? Good to see you. Didn't Gabe ask you on Twitter?
He did.
Shout to Mo Bamba.
For a Mo Bamba
he
shout
asked me for a Mo Bamba shout out.
Shout to Mo Bamba.
Good for you on your fitness too, Gabe Ledley. Proud of you, man. Rectangle says, missed the UFC fight last night. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Hey, you start talking shit.
Yeah, the Jazz. Eugene 12 says the Jazz are what we thought they were. Jackson Graham says, hey, y'all, go BYU. Bye week, much needed bye week for BYU. Much needed. Spencer Morgan, hey, Spence, good to see you. Serious lack of emotional maturity on this team, and it starts with the leaders, Rudy and Don. Serious lack of emotional maturity is a great way to put it.
Facts.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And I think that's to me, that's pretty succinct. Maturity is a problem right now. Mental toughness is a problem right now. Shell Silver Smith says the refs are definitely biased against the Jazz. If you watch every game, Bogdanovich gets pummeled all the time. While we don't watch Jazz basketball on this show ever, but in every minute of every game, pretty much we've watched it. You're right. The Jazz don't get the calls they should get. But guess what? No team in the NBA, and I watch a ton of NBA.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting the calls they should get.
No.
The play under the basket and the play to the rim is not called right now.
It's much more physical. They want more physicality in the game.
That's exactly right.
And you're not going to be able, and this is, again, not that you're wrong, whoever said that, like you're
Shell Silversmith,
you're not wrong that the Jazz are not getting calls
or that Bogey gets pummeled and there's no whistle. Absolutely right.
You're totally right about that, but I think that's besides the point at this stage in the season. I think what is very clear is that the NBA is in a place where they want the bigs to battle, they want physicality under the rim, and they want to get back to a situation where the big can get after the driver, right? Can get after the guard who's coming to the basket. That's what they want. And frankly, to be honest with you, I don't blame them. I think when you look at the last season or the season before, when you look at guys, as much as I love the guy, Steph Curry, James Harden, when you look at these guys drawing these ticky-tack fouls on defenders, that's what the league's trying to get away from. And I think it's no longer good enough for the Jazz to be like, well, we're not getting the calls we should get. Nobody is, dude. Make the adjustment. Recognize it.
Yeah, by the way, Carl says, it's hard for Jazz fans to hear anything negative. I think this is part of the narrative in this town. You have guys like Bowler and Locke who will only say good things because they're paid by the team, and the flagship station essentially is owned by the team. You guys are the lone voice of reason because I'm not listening to the Tribune. By the way, I just saw what the punter at San Diego State does. My God. Well, thank you for listening to the show. The San
The
Diego
streak of San Diego State making the show as well and alive.
and Eric C's not even here to bring it on his own. But the punter at San Diego State is arguably the best punter in the history of college football.
Yeah.
That's not an exaggeration. Spencer Morgan says victim mentality leads to all of this. Man, that is so true.
Yeah, it's on point.
So true. Jeremy Bolton says, LOL, Joe Ingles, he came flying and that ref had no chance. No chance. No chance. That ref had no chance. Eugene 12 says, Mike and JC need to step up when they don't play well. The Jazz don't win. The three-point shooting is, I don't know how you explain it. And all I can say is I've played a lot of basketball in my life. You know, I shoot. I have always been a three-point shooter, not very good, but and Ron Sapocek, Sampy, my old high school coach at good old Round Lake High School, always used to say, just keep shooting it because it's going to go in eventually.
Yeah.
And the Jazz last night shot 28% from three. 9 all game.
At home, dude.
9 of 32.
At home. And by the way, what was more troubling about that?
Jake, I said
I know,
I said
9 of 32.
I
By the
said,
way,
hey man, I said they shot 9 of 32, not in the third quarter, in the entire game.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
yeah.
It said Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah. And
Let's go to the Jazz locker room. Here's Jordan Clarkson.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
Ah!
dude, like the more troubling part about that is the Jazz came out and were hot. Don was 4 of 4, like he was cooking.
And the thing about the ejection on Donovan Mitchell, he was having a good game.
Yeah.
26 points. Now, 3 of 7 from 3 is what it is, but he's 11 of 20 from the floor. The problem with Don last night was he wasn't getting calls. He shot, I think, didn't he only shoot 1 free throw? So he's not getting the whistle. So what happens? It builds. There's frustration. I want
Losing
more calls.
composure.
And then you lose. Somebody says something to you, you lose your mind. Rudy Gobert was having a great game last night. 19 and 11. 5 of 7 from the free throw line.
By the way, just going to keep pointing this out. Every time they shoot 28% from 3, Buddy's going to have a big game. Just telling you.
And he took himself right out of the game.
Literally.
And Joe Ingles, look, I don't know what you say about Joe Ingles. 26 minutes, 7 points, 1 of 4 from 3, and a great body block. And an ejection.
So I'm saying, dude, this team needs help. This team, like Justin Zanuck in the front office, need to get it going.
Yeah.
Like this kind of game, to me, and I'm not trying to say the Jazz fans should panic or the season's over or any of that trash, because that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying very clearly right here today is that this team has championship aspirations, and they're nowhere near a championship caliber team. Not even close.
Clark wants to know if we ever support the Jazz.
Dude, we support the Jazz every single day.
But the issue is, again, on this show, and I think anybody who watches this show on a daily basis, the Jazz, BYU, the Utah Utes, who are going to win again this weekend.
Dude, they better, Dude.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Anyway, my point is, we tell the truth. We're not here to shine people. We are not the Salt Lake Tribune. Oh, the Jazz are great. T-shirt night coming up Tuesday against.
I really don't care if you think it's sus.
Against the New Jersey. Like, we're not here to like shine you. This is you get the unvarnished truth on this show, and I'm telling you, there's something wrong with this Jazz team. And the trade deadline may be too far away.
Yeah.
It may be too far away. This may be a team that needs to make a trade in January.
Yeah.
And again, it's 12 games into the season. I'm not telling you to panic. This is not the same Jazz team you knew last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really concerns me. Spencer Morgan says you can either take ownership or believe you're a victim, but you can't do both.
Agreed.
That's exactly right.
100% agree.